you have to trust your logic and your argument.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're lost, and you should just invest in mutual funds, because if you can't create a logical argument as to your thesis to invest, you have to trust that, even if you're wrong.
Yeah, and it's
Now, and I'll add to that, rather than getting too deep in the Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash, I'm a Bitcoin, I would argue, on the Bitcoin side. However, even if you're right, this is a famous quote in the markets I sometimes quote, even if you're right, if the market disagrees with you, you're still wrong. Now, you can be right logically, you can be right morally, you can be right eventually, you can be right, but if the market's disagreeing with you, you're still wrong. So, for example, Tesla, even though I think I could argue for 5 hours about why it should be much higher, the market is currently disagreeing with me, and a lot of people have lost a lot of money in the short term. I may eventually be right. I trust my logic, but right now I'm sort of wrong in this, let's say in the last year, my bet on, and it can be the same, whereas with BCH and Bitcoin Cash, even I don't concede all the points, but let's just leave it sort of neutral. But even if it's true that it's better peer-to-peer cash, it has lower transaction fees, perhaps the block size should be larger. Let's grant all those things. If Goldman Sachs still buys Bitcoin and drives it up $5 trillion in the next 5 years, it still will be the wrong thesis. Now, that doesn't mean you're wrong or that your thinking was wrong. It just means the market disagrees. And we need to have that caveat, right? For example, I think the gold bugs have been right all along. I think eventually the whole debt system will implode, but they've been wrong for a very, very, very long time, right? They've not even outperformed the S&P. There's been a lot. So the gold bug, and they've been wrong versus Bitcoin as well, right? And so you have an example of very smart people understanding Austrian economics, and you can still be wrong if the market disagrees with you. If the market wants to buy Nvidia and you want to buy gold, you're losing, even though you might be right that Nvidia is overvalued.
Yes.
So it's just a caveat to remember, and not getting too stuck with it, because that's what I would add to that. But you're right, I agree with you. What you're saying is you believe your thesis on Bitcoin Cash, you think you're right, and the gap between the market performance and your ideas does not discount the validity of your logic, right? I think it's a valid, and it may play out. It may still come true.
No. Like